Hello everyone, it's Brian again from Guess Who Gifts, and I know it's been a while since I've posted, and I'm actually pretty excited to share with everyone today a new method for shrink wrap that you probably haven't seen before. You may or may not have, but what we're going to be doing is a 20-ounce tumbler straight. It's not tapered, so this doesn't work for a tapered one, but some of you are very familiar with shrink wrap, obviously. Other people might be familiar with these silicone bands. I do sell both shrink wrap and silicone bands, and I actually prefer these silicone bands that are on my site. They're an inch thick instead of a ½ inch. So if you haven't tried these, I highly recommend it. They're just $1 a piece. So, but many of you are also familiar with a tumbler wrap. And so what you do is you put it on the tumbler and you push it through like so, and the tumbler sits in here. I'll show you real quick in a second, but basically this is a method that many people have used, and I'm assuming that if you're joining my channel that many of you even bought one from me. But anyway, so some people like these, some people don't. They're good for different things, but the newest thing that I have is a silicone sleeve. So it's an entire silicone sleeve, and instead it doesn't have that metal clasp that a lot of people don't like. And so this is a full silicone sleeve that wraps around your tumbler, and even the bottom right around there. So here's what it looks like on a 20-ounce skinny tumbler. And you can see it's right up to the edge. It's pretty tight. And then to put it on and off, I'm going to actually do one real quick for you, but I just wanted to share with you, that you can basically slide it off like this, right, and slide it back on the same way. So it's not as easy to get on and off as the other silicone wrap. It's actually pretty tough, but it's actually good because that means it's tight on your tumbler. So like I said, it won't work with a tapered tumbler. It'll only work with a straight. So here is, oh, I made it inside out. That was dumb. So anyway, so here is the silicone sleeve. I don't have these for sale yet on the site. I just wanted to share with you. They'll be available in about 2 weeks, but they are going to sell fast, and I'll only have 1,000 to sell to see how it goes. So anyway, if you don't have one, they're going to be 20 bucks on the website, and they work beautifully, and you'll see in a second. So right now I'm waiting for my oven to heat up, and I preheat my oven to about 350, 360. Actually, my oven, it says it's at 380, but the internal temperature, you have a little internal thermometer in there, I hope. I have that at 350. But while we're waiting, I just wanted to share with you, so everyone's familiar with the standard size 11-ounce mug. I'm pretty excited to share with everyone that now available on guesswhogifts.com, we have the 30-ounce mug. And so I just want to show you the difference in size. I mean, it's huge. This thing, if it didn't have the handle, could fit all the way in inside of this mug. So this is absolutely huge. You can see it, the size of it compared to my face. It's absolutely huge. Fits about 1 liter or a little over 30 ounces. So they're pretty crazy. Also, I do have on my website now the spinners, right? So you can advertise your tumblers, and also the heat gloves if you need heat gloves. These are actually cheaper than Amazon, and so are the spinners. So I recommend you getting them from guesswhogifts.com. So today we're going to be printing this on, it's a orange, what is it? Citrus Meadow Scent onto the tumbler. So I'm going to go cut this and show you how I use the silicone sleeve instead of the wrap. I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have cut the image, and different tumblers are different sizes. I like the ones that I sell. They are 8 inches tall, 9.3 inches wide. So I do like 8.05 and 9.32 or 9.33 to have them go completely around. And you can see I just have it overlap just a smidge right here. Another thing I want to say, if you're using this orange tape, I'm not saying it's bad. Tons of people use it, it's great. But I happen to like the thicker blue tape I do sell it for $4.50 a roll on guesswhogifts.com. But the most important thing is to wipe down your tumbler with a lint-free rag. I'd use my shirt, or I actually always carry a lint-free rag. I just wiped it down a minute ago, just to make sure there's nothing on, no fingerprints or anything like that. You want to make sure. Some people use alcohol wipes. If I use an alcohol wipe, I still wipe it down with one of those after. And then the second most important thing is make sure your image is mirrored, and then also make sure that your it's right side up, and you're not going to end up with an upside down image. So then you really can't sell it unless someone really wanted an upside down one. So anyway, now what I'm going to share with you is I just really go super tight right here like this. And then I don't sell them, but I recommend that you get a tape dispenser. It makes it so much easier. But you can see I tape, make sure it's nice and flush, like so. And then tighten as tight as you can get. And then bam, right? So see how tight that is? And then I'll show you in a second, but you really want to run your fingernail up and down this side, and then also where it overlaps, right? Because if there's I'll try to show you in a second. So my overlap is, this is the crease, and then this is the overlap right here. So you want to make sure that you're rubbing your fingernail up and down right there, and that stops gas from being in there that will make white spots or a seam. Because obviously you don't want a seam at all. So the more you can rub your finger up and down that, the better, or fingernail. Some people go up and down on the side of a table, either one. This is a little stickier than the other tape we were just talking about, the orange tape. I just really like it. So now I'm going to go as tight as I can here, as tight as I can there, and then I fold it right over like that. So if you have a little bit of a lip, you could end up getting white spots around the bottom, but I'm going to show you some of that as well. I always take this thing off, and then I'm going to finish up here. Like so. I go super tight. Super tight. And then right here, I try to get as tight as possible along the top. Now, I am still going to put tape on the top and bottom. It's not required, but I've always done it. And the reason I do it is so no gas escapes on either side. And what's cool about this extra thick tape is you can go, I'll try to show you, see if you can see this. I try to pull it tight, like so. Let me see, hopefully you can see that. If not, I'll just come up. I try to pull it as tight as possible right here so that there's no air bubbles, no escaping. Right, you want to make sure it's as tight as possible. And see, you can really pull this tape tight across. And see, I still have like a half of whatever the normal orange tape is left to fold over. Right, and then the cool thing about this tape is it sticks a little bit better to the inside. I'm not saying perfectly, but it sticks better to that inside, where the second you put the orange tape in the oven, that it starts flipping up right here. So if you don't have any, I highly recommend getting this on www.guesswhogifts.com. So anyway, so there's that. And then I sometimes roll the top just to make sure there's no air bubbles, because you don't want any of those. And then this is where you would put that, if you're not using the other thing, where you would put a band on top or in the middle or on the bottom. But we're going to use the silicone sleeve. So now I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom. I just want to show you. So I'm just pulling as tight as possible right here. Tight. So there's no air bubbles. Right? And you can see the tighter you pull, the better. Right? And then I just fold this in. Some people cut like the little ridges so that it doesn't fold and crease. But I just do this. And you'll see it's going to come out just beautifully. Okay, so now you can see exactly how to get the top. And like I said, I roll along the table just to make sure that I get all the creases out right along the edge. I don't want any white spots. And then again, one last time, take your fingernail and go up and down to completely get rid of the possibility for a, what do you call that? A seam. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect every time, but this is the method that I like doing. Okay, sorry about that. My phone died, so if it looks a little weird on the video, that's why. So I just wanted you to see, you can see I have about a centimeter overlap, maybe 1.5 centimeter. I don't know. I don't really know my centimeters well, but, and on both sides of it, I went up and down. So you should be able to see right here, kind of my seam and how you can tell I ran my finger up and down it. So here's the final, here, here. And like I said, I rolled this around on the desk to make sure it was as good as possible. And this is when you would normally take this, and I'm just going to show you real quick, and put it right in the middle. And I'm not going to do it perfectly, but you would take this, let me get it down in the right spot. So where you would take this, squeeze, and oops, I messed up. Obviously, because I'm on video. Luckily, I'm better at sublimation than I am videos. But anyway, so you snap it, and you would see, right, make sure it's on the top and bottom. I didn't do it in the best spot. It should be down further, a little this way. But anyway, this is the old Tumbler wrap, but instead, what we're going to do is do the Tumbler sleeve. So with that, again, good thing I taped it nice and good. And you're going to go, it doesn't obviously fit, it's hard to get in there. And we want that because we want it to be nice and tight. So I'm just going to kind of use my stomach or table or whatever. I just wanted you to be able to see it up in the camera. But I'm pulling down, right? See how it's, I just basically am going to push down and let it completely cover the entire tumbler, like so. This is why you got to make sure you taped it, because obviously if you did all that and you're reefing on it and you didn't tape it, it's going to come apart. But anyway, you can see like this, okay? So now it's ready to go in. Okay, so you can see my oven is preheated at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but my internal thermometer, you can see, is right at 350. I don't know if you can see that, right at 350. So that's exactly where I wanted it. So yeah, my oven runs a little cooler. And basically we're gonna take the tumbler here and we're gonna put it right in there like so, and set the timer for 6 minutes. I will about halfway through rotate and flip it over. So I'll show you what that's like here in a few moments. Okay, so as you can see, we're right at that 3-minute marker, and it still says 400 here, but as you can see, I'm creeping up to closer to 360. I might turn it down one little bit to 395, but now I'm gonna go ahead and go in here, and you can see I'm gonna spin it just a little bit so that it's a different thing close to the heater. And I'm gonna flip it over like so. And see, I'm still right at 350. And I'm gonna let this go for 2 minutes and 39 more seconds, and I'll show you the final product. See you soon. Okay, we're about 8 seconds away. You can still see I'm right around 350-ish, in between 350 and 360. Okay, it's done here. You can see I have a silicone mat on the bottom. You don't have to have that, but if you do want one, I do sell them on my one-stop shop, guesswhogifts.com. And you can see here's the out of the oven. And so I probably need 2 hands for this, so I'm going to set the phone down and do it from a different angle. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it's still pretty warm, but like I said, basically I'm just going to push through right here, and then I should be able to. It's still pretty hot, so you don't necessarily want to touch it. And now I have a little bit of a grip here. I can pull it off like so. It's a little warm. Don't do what I do, obviously. And let's see. I'm just going to get this tape off real quick. Okay, there's that. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to the seam or whatever of the tape. I know I don't make the prettiest faces, and I apologize for that. But anyway, so I'm just getting the tape off, and in a second, you will see the beautifulness. There's the bottom. There's the... I didn't line this up very good, but you can see no bubbles up here and no white spots down really at the bottom. There was one, maybe one little one. But anyway, it's a little hot. So there you go. Don't forget, subscribe below and go to www.guesswhogifts.com for everything that I used in the video today.